You were cited as saying that artificial intelligence poses a greater threat than nuclear weapons. I responded, perhaps, and it goes on. You also said that it's like calling forth a demon. How can one reconcile and explain this conflict between artificial intelligence and deep learning, which is undoubtedly crucial for self-driving cars? How do you think about it? Well, I don't think we need to worry about autonomous cars because they're essentially a limited type of artificial intelligence, and it's not something that I think is particularly difficult. In fact, I think it's more safer to perform autonomous driving to a certain extent than a person is far simpler than most people realize. First up is Elon Musk, our version of Tony Stark without the Iron Man suit. Musk decides that the automobile industry is too mundane with its century-old tradition of actually requiring humans to drive, so he rolls up his sleeves and starts working on creating Tesla, a company that not only magically updates cars while you sleep, but also electrically powers them. Imagine waking up to find your car has learned new tricks overnight. It's like having a pet that doesn't need to be walked or urinates on your carpet. Now Elon's cars aren't your typical Joe cars. Instead, they receive regular software updates from the internet that add features you didn't know you needed. It's like your car telling you, hey, look, now I can do yoga every few months. And you're just standing there, staring at its downward dog. While I believe it's very difficult, I also believe that it's much easier to do autonomous driving to the point where it's much safer than people think. Let's move on to Elon's future, where owning the car is as antiquated as having a rotary phone. Elon believes that autonomous driving will become as commonplace as using an elevator. I don't know about you, but can you imagine a world in which elevator operators suddenly disappeared and the elevator could operate with just a button press? That is the kind of future Elon envisions for cars, as he believes that the only thing scarier than an AI operating a vehicle is you operating a vehicle yourself. Elon predicts that manually operating a vehicle will be viewed as extremely risky in the future. Rather than balancing chainsaws on on-cycle, it's like suggesting that our automobiles will behave so well in the future that we won't need to wear bulletproof vests to the grocery store. The idea is that cars might be so secure they won't even require the hefty armor they wear now. The capacity to produce cars and trucks is about 100 million per year, so if all cars became autonomous tomorrow, it would take 20 years to replace the fleet, assuming that the fleet remained the same size. Of course, if things become autonomous, that could change. But even so, it would still take some time to transition, perhaps 15 years or so, and it won't happen all at once. But there's a catch when moving toward this utopian. A fleeting courteous self-driving and electric car won't happen overnight. Musk estimates that it could take 15 to 20 years to replace all of the 2 billion legacy cars that currently exist on the planet with their autonomous counterparts. It's kind of like trying to replace all of the horses in the world with cars at the turn of the 20th century, but with more software updates and fewer hay bales. You kind of need the hardware foundation, the sort of sensor and computing foundation, and then you can keep uploading new software. At least you can with a Tesla because it's always connected, so you'll notice that the car you have is steadily getting better. For example, its active cruise control system uses radar and camera fusion to track the car in front of you. The brake lights are on, so it's going to get even smarter even with the current hardware suite. Elon Musk, in his quest to transform our ordinary driving experiences into science fiction, talks about cars that are smarter than your average bear or smartphone. For that matter, he introduces us to active cruise control, which isn't the kind where your car follows the car in front of you aimlessly like a lost puppy, but rather a sophisticated radar and camera fusion system that works like a psychic, anticipating when the car in front of you is going to stop because someone spilled their coffee. But wait, Musk doesn't stop there. He wants your car to be omniscient so that it can achieve full autonomy, especially in those excruciatingly unpredictable urban jungles. It's AM brains and radars. The only place it gets tricky is in that urban environment, which is about 30 or 40 meters slash. At the moment, however, it's fairly easy to deal with things that are under 5 to 10 miles per hour, because we can do that with the ultrasonics. The only thing we have to watch out for is that it doesn't hit anything because, well, you can always do that, which is largely the right thing to do. At 5 to 10 miles per hour, you can stop within the ultrasonics range, and then from, let's say, 10 miles per hour to, say, 50 meters slash that area. Now let's move on to the challenges and magical solutions in the enchanted land of autonomous driving. First, we tackle those heart-stopping moments of rush hour traffic. where speeds range from glacial to snail's pace. These occur most frequently in complex suburban environments. Musk suggests using ultrasonics to prevent your car from getting too close to the car in front of it. It's like giving your car friendly bubbles that will beep if they burst. But the real fun starts in the suburban obstacle course, where life throws everything at your car, including the kitchen sink. Children chasing balls, dying wishful squirrels, and riders acting like they're in the Tour de France. Musk's response is a car brain that combines the powers of a supercomputer and a psychic medium to see into the future and make split-second decisions with the composure of a Zen master. It's not just about avoiding obstacles. It's about anticipating the chaos of suburban life and navigating it with the grace of a ballet dancer. It will likely take at least another 2 or 3 years before regulators will permit that to be the case, because they all want to see substantial statistical evidence that demonstrates that cars are not just as safe as people, but far safer. Nevertheless, you can run it in shadow mode and essentially say, this is what the computer would have done in all these circumstances, and was there, instead of asking questions like, what are the false positives and false negatives? And reaching a sizable population base, you should present the regulators with a convincing statistical case. They will consider it for a while and, in my opinion, agree because the evidence will be overwhelming. Elon Musk confronts his greatest enemy, government regulations, in his never-ending quest to take us to a utopian future, where cars drive themselves and people are free to quarrel over the OS cord. But it's not all capes and supervillains. It's more about persuading the powers that be with the charm of hard data. Musk intends to use self-driving cars in shadow mode, which sounds like a covert espionage operation, but is actually just the cars posing as drivers in order to gather data. It's similar to having a ghost driver who is exceptionally adept at avoiding accidents. Together, all the proof required to convince the regulators that, yes, these robotic drivers are considerably safer than people, who could become sidetracked by everything from butterflies to billboards. In terms of public safety, I believe there is a case to be made for exercising caution and making sure everything is in order before making a change. In other words, I don't believe that there is currently a fully autonomous system and that regulators are refusing to approve it because it could actually replace people. But in a few years, there will be. This is where things get spicy. You said this was because you wanted to add more features, and a lot of nowadays, features are determined by software, as you may have realized. With software updates that add new capabilities without requiring a trip to the mechanic, Tesla cars change overnight, guaranteeing that your vehicle improves with age like a good digital wine. We have explored the frontiers of autonomous driving, painting a picture of a future in which our cars serve as guardians, transporting us safely to our destinations, while we relax and enjoy the ride. Lastly, we have marveled at the cutting-edge technology announcements that promise to propel Tesla and, in fact, the entire automotive industry into a new era of performance and possibility. Now, I have a few questions for you. What feature are you most excited to see in subsequent Tesla updates? Regarding the shift to autonomous driving, what are your thoughts? Additionally, what steps do you believe are most crucial to ensuring security in these increasingly sophisticated vehicles? Please leave a comment below with your thoughts. And don't forget to like this video if thank you for watching. And we'll see you on the road to tomorrow. We hope you've enjoyed our journey through Musk's vision for Tesla and the future of driving. Subscribe to Tesla Insights for more.